Manchester United hijacked Joshua Zirkzee to AC Milan even though he agreed to join the club. Manchester United hijacked Leny Yoro to Real Madrid even though Yoro wanted Real Madrid and that was his dream. Could Manchester United be about to hijack Joao Neves to PSG? £59 million is the reported fee that PSG had to pay for the guy. And considering Man United are working on offloading McTominay, £30 million bid coming in, Casemiro expected to go to Saudi, could the funds be there for United to drop Manuel Ugarte and go in for Joao Neves? What is the latest on Leny Yoro? His announcement is expected to be tomorrow. Joshua Zirkzee has his first interview as a United player and dropped some interesting points about how he plays. What is the latest on Ugarte? What is the latest on the sales? Because United are pushing ahead with some sales now that Yoro and Zirkzee's in. What are United's plans going forward? And more. Please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. And this is your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup where I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more that you need to know in the next 10 minutes that's come out today that is relevant, starting with Chris Wheeler's report that Manchester United rejected a bid of less than £30 million for Scott McTominay from Fulham. So Fulham made a bid for Scott McTominay. It was £17 million. Reportedly, they've made a second one that some sources saying was £26 million. Manchester United are holding out for £30 million for Scott McTominay, and they'll be willing to sell him for £30 million. Considering Fulham got close to £30 million, they may put a third and final offer in for Scott McTominay of £30 million. The question is, does McTominay want to go to Fulham? I don't know if he does or if he doesn't, but we know that Fulham have the money and they want McTominay. They wanted him last year, but McTominay wasn't too keen on the move. 1 year left on his deal at United, probably won't be a regular starter. Will he go to Fulham? I'm not sure, but if we can push McTominay out and get £30 million for him, that would be good. I think deep down we could get £40 million for McTominay, but he's got 1 year left on his deal, so I think we can set £30 million. It's pure FFP profit. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I think that while if he stays, it's not the end of the world because he's good coming off the bench. He's a good bench player, he's a good squad player. He's got a really good mentality. I think when he's got 1 year left on his deal, he's 27 years of age. This is our last year to get money from McTominay. And while he's a good squad player, he's not good enough to start. And the funds for McTominay could go on someone that is good enough to start, which improves the squad and starting 11 itself. Now, someone that is good enough to start. Now, the question is him and Maino too similar? But that is Joao Neves. And we know that Manchester United love Joao Neves. Fabrizio Romano, every reliable source has said United like Joao Neves, but they're worried about the price because they think it's going to be 80, 90 million. He is Man United's dream midfield signing. We know that from all the tier 1 sources, but we walked away because of the price. Apparently, we had a few talks. Few indications of making a move. We love the guy, but walked away because of the price. He's also PSG's number 1 priority in midfield. Both Man United and PSG are obsessed with the idea of Joao Neves. Now, what's being reported by a decent source is saying that PSG and Benfica are negotiating around €70 million for Joao Neves. Paris very confident of completing his arrival quickly. The Portuguese is waiting an outcome. Now, that is interesting. Joao Neves, we know, is open to joining Man United. We know Man United love Joao Neves, but we walked away because we were thinking it was going to be €100 million. €70 million is £59 million. Now, McTominay and Casemiro themselves would probably bring in £60 million, which could fund the Joao Neves deal. Now, it is moving quickly. Maybe United have to sell quickly. Maybe we will sell quickly to hijack this deal. But we didn't think we were going to get Leny Yoro. We ended up getting him. We beat Real Madrid to him. We didn't think we were going to get Zirkzee because I remember us moaning that he'd agreed personal terms of AC Milan, and I said, oh, that's such a bad miss. We got Zirkzee. Considering we're pushing to sell McTominay, Casemiro is expected to leave, and Joao Neves is now available for €70 million. I expect Man United to go and do something if this is true. I really do. Considering the way that Ineos have been acting, I think if this is true, I think we do it. I think we go for a hijack because this is an absolute bargain. Could the budget be there for Neves? It was said that Manchester United's aim was to make 2 quick signings before their US tour for under £100 million, which is Zirkzee and Leny Yoro. Yoro, I keep saying his name wrong. And obviously he's undergoing his medical. Budget now depends on outgoings, but United want another centre-back in midfielder. It could depend on outgoings. Now, the latest on outgoings is for £30 million bid for McTominay. Casemiro is expected to leave. Lindelof's expected to leave. And as Robbo said here, I really hope that we're still in for Joao Neves. Is that £59 million fee is accurate, especially with Fulham coming back in for McTominay and the very strong Saudi interest in Casemiro being reported by Romano yet again last week. So if that is accurate, I do think United are going for a hijack. I do, especially if those 2 departures happen. Now, as Aaron said here, and I thought this was an interesting point, higher on Ugarte than many people on Twitter seem to be. But paying $50 million for Ugarte so PSG can pay $70 million for Joao Neves in euros is a huge mistake in my view. Ugarte might fit United better right now, but Neves is a top 5 midfielder in his age group, and it's true. In an ideal world, we get both Ugarte and Neves, and I think that solves our midfield issues. If we could get, now we've got Yoro in, if we could get one De Ligt and Branthwaite, and we could get both Ugarte and Neves, and then we could get another winger, and then just bring Reguilon on for left-back depth, that would be an unbelievable summer from United. Ideally, we need both. But I think if we buy Ugarte, that funds PSG what they need to get Neves. I do think while Ugarte may be more what we need now, potentially there's an opportunity there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts as United now pushing ahead with reported exits. And I do apologise if we're getting a little bit of lag in here. In regards to exits, it was said that Manchester United are ready to listen to offers for most players to fund new signings. The club is looking to recruit a new right-back and a defensive midfielder. We know that Wan-Bissaka is expected to go, Casemiro is expected to go, Lindelof's expected to go, Greenwood's obviously gone. They still want Sancho gone, Pellistri gone, Mesri's expected to go, Donny is gone. Players like Maguire and McTominay that are open to selling, Eriksen they're open to selling. There's a lot of players that basically are probably going to go. So United are saying, you know what, we're ready to listen to offers for most players. And considering we're looking at right back and defensive midfield, I think that suggests that Casemiro, Wan-Bissaka and McTominay are the three most active departures right now, with also Victor Lindelof in general just being one to watch, because United have always had there has been a lot of clubs interested in Lindelof, and we know from sources that Man United are doing what they can to offload Lindelof. So let's get into the other stories. And in case you weren't aware, we got a Here We Go for Leny Yoro by Fabrizio Romano about 5:30 today. We've known that since this morning when David Ornstein confirmed he was flying to England for his medical that it was going to be done. But it was said by Romano, Leny Yoro to Manchester United. Here we go, deal in place after the first part of medical was completed today. More tests to follow. He's ready to sign a new 5-year deal at United. Lille and Man United have all the documents signed for €50 million plus add-ons. And I want to say one thing. So many sources are lying, claiming that Man United paid 70-80 million for Yoro. It's £42 million with a potential of 10 million in add-ons. The most we'll pay for Leny Yoro is just over 50 million, and that is if he plays a certain amount of games and wins a certain amount of trophies, then he'll be worth 50 million. As of now, we're only paying £42 million for Yoro, then 50 million if the add-ons are included. So not sure why people are sort of suggesting that it's a £62 million deal. It's 42 million base fee worth €50 million, £42 million. That is a good signing, but when it's Man United, they include all the add-ons, they include everything, and they're making out that we're spending 60 million when at most I think it would be just over 50 million if we put the add-ons on, and we only pay the add-ons for success. It's a £42 million deal. You know, stop trying to make out that, you know, the reason he chose Man United is because we paid this money in Liverpool and Real Madrid wouldn't. Real Madrid wouldn't pay the money because Real Madrid wanted to get him on the cheap, and Real Madrid spent a lot of money on Mbappe, Alphonso Davies, they want Trent. But at the end of the day, it's not, we've convinced Leny Yoro to go because we've presented a project to him. You know, PSG would have paid that money. Now, what else was said on Leny Yoro? It said that Leny Yoro decided to join Manchester United after being impressed by the club's by the club's hands on pitch and the decisive way they agree a fee with Lille. United believe Yoro will become an elite centre back more than justifying the outlay, and it was said that Leny Yoro announcement is expected tomorrow. It was said that Leny Yoro has completed his Manchester United medical and he will sign his contract tomorrow and then will be announced, and that Leny Yoro was Real Madrid's prime target, but they were convinced he only wanted to move to Spain. So all the Liverpool fans trying to make out it's bad. Come on. I saw you all hyping him a few weeks ago when you thought you had a chance. Come on. And thanks to Liverpool fans for writing loads of good threads on how good Leny Yoro is. Really did help. So what else has been said in regards to news? It was said by Ben Jacobs that PSG sources are adamant that more than one verbal offer has been made by Manchester United for Ugarte. United sources have always been insistent that they've not placed any formal offer. PSG sources are claiming we've made bids for Ugarte, United claiming they haven't. Maybe they have made a verbal offer for Ugarte. They've obviously had talks. They've got a green light agreed with Ugarte and PSG for the move, but they've not made a bid for Ugarte yet. And there's suggestions that the reason they haven't made a bid on Ugarte yet is because they're waiting to see what happens to Casemiro. And I've also spoke to PSG about the possibility of making a loan offer for Ugarte. Now, that is the end of most of the transfer news, but I do want to talk about a few other things because Joshua Zirkzee's Man United interview was released today. I highly recommend watching it, but here was a few quotes from his interview that I thought was interesting. He said, Depay and Blim were very happy for me. They had a lot of good things to say about the club and wished me luck. So he spoke to those two players about joining United. He was then asked to describe his style of play. He said, I'm a creative player. I'm good with the ball. I'm a bit unpredictable. Am I an entertainer? It's good to entertain as a team, just not as an individual, not just as an individual is what he said, but he confirmed he is a creative player. Now, he also spoke about his number and he said it depends on what Højlund is going to do. He's a striker, so the number 9 is now free, but he's got 11. So I can imagine that he says, I'd like to have the number 9 as a striker, but then I'll just take that 11. So it'll probably be 11, but if Højlund doesn't want to change 11, he'll get number 9. Højlund is more of an out-and-out striker than Zirkzee, but I like that Zirkzee's like, I'm just willing to do what Højlund wants to do. Doesn't want to upset Højlund. If Højlund wants that shirt number, I'll take the other one. I kind of like that team attitude. Another team attitude I like, and although it's not Christian Romero doesn't play for United, is Christian Romero and Lissandro Martinez. 14 matches together, only conceded 1 goal, which was an own goal, and they've not lost a match when they've been on the pitch together. How insane is that duo? And hopefully Romero can be replaced by sort of Leny Yoro. Obviously not for Argentina because he's not French, but hopefully Leny Yoro can be like Christian Romero to Lisandro Martinez, and they can form an absolutely brilliant pairing. Which brings me into the final story. I'm sure you're aware of this, so I saved this to the end of the video. But in our roundups, we like to round up all the relevant news. Is that Man United have authorised Greenwood's travel to Marseille. He will take a private flight, undergo medical tests, and sign a 5-year deal. Green light from United, and documents are in place. So Mason Greenwood is set to join Marseille. That is your 10-minute roundup. Let me know your thoughts on Joao Neves, Leny Yoro, and all the latest Man United news. Thank you for watching. Bye.